Natation Canada tient à remercier ses partenaires. Swimming Canada would like to thank our partners. Comité olympique canadien. Canadian Olympic Committee. Comité paralympique canadien. Canadian Paralympic Committee. Le gouvernement du Québec. The Government of Quebec. Mieux pour tous et toutes les façons dont Bell redonne aux communautés et au sport à travers le Canada. Bell for better and all the ways it gives back to communities and sports across Canada. Mirtha Pools, toujours au cœur des sports de haute performance. Mirtha Pools, always at the heart of high-performance aquatic sports. La Société de sauvetage du Canada, votre partenaire de confiance en éducation aquatique et en prévention de la noyade. Life Saving Society Canada, your trusted partner in aquatic education and drowning prevention.
I have a disability, but I'm not fragile. My first big hit was a rush. It made me feel alive in a way only sports can. Because of partners like Bell, I get to feel it on the world stage. And now I get to share that feeling with the next generation.
It's the opening day of the Canadian Olympic and Paralympic swimming trials presented by Bell at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre. It's a chance for athletes to punch their tickets to the Paris Olympic and Paralympic Games, a week-long competition. All kinds of athletes from all across the country, Olympic and Paralympic athletes. And among the superstars in the pool tonight, Byron, Summer McIntosh, the 17-year-old, who last year in this pool set a world record in the 400-meter freestyle. Does she even want to, and does her coach even want her to swim that fast tonight?
Well, I know last year after she set that world record, the Australians put it up on the bulletin board and said, we got to beat this young lady because she's something special. And I guess I just want to say that to all the viewers, is this is possibly the best swimmer in the entire world that we get to see on a daily basis. Summer McIntosh is incredible. She is so talented and so good and works so hard. And she'll challenge that world record. Most importantly, she's basically going through her routine at this meet to get her ready for Paris.
Meanwhile, the one Canadian who won a gold medal in Tokyo in 2021 was Maggie McNeil in the 100-meter butterfly. She'll race that event tonight. And Byron, in the heats this morning, she was red hot.
Well, and this is good to see because she was falling behind a little bit from her big compatriots, or the people that she raced when she was in Tokyo. She won that medal by only 5 100ths, and those athletes have been improving. Maggie's been about the same. She looked great today, all right? Coming back in the second 50, I asked her about it, and she said, my whole focus was the back half of my race, and boy, did she look great, and that sets her up for a great run tonight and for Paris.
We're also looking forward to the Paralympic events. They're integrated into the program as well, and among the superstars there, Danielle Dorris out of Moncton, New Brunswick, world record holder. She's won world championship gold. She'll be racing in the 50 butterfly. What do you expect from her?
Well, I expect her to challenge her world record. She looks really close. She's on form. We've got a great situation going with the coordination of all the Paralympics. They always come in and out of training centers in Montreal. And I just think that this lady is able to set a message to the rest of the world like, here's where I'm at. If you want to win the gold medal in Paris, you got to come after me.
Byron's ready. I'm ready. We hope you're ready. The fireworks begins tonight in Toronto.
We'd like to acknowledge that the land we're standing on today is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. It is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaties, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Nous reconnaissons que la terre sur laquelle nous nous réunissons est le territoire traditionnel de nombreuses nations, notamment les Mississaugas du Crédit, les Anishinaabe, les Chippewa, les Haudenosaunee et les Wendats, qui abritent maintenant de nombreux peuples diversifiés des Premières Nations, des Inuits et des Métis. Nous reconnaissons également que Toronto est couvert par le traité 13 avec les Mississaugas du Crédit et par les traités Williams signés avec plusieurs bandes de Mississaugas et Chippewa. Accueillons maintenant nos juges pour la session de finale de ce soir. Now introducing our officials for this evening's finals. The referee, le juge arbitre pour les épreuves féminines for women's events, Peter Burke. Juge arbitre, referee for men's events, Kerem Ozcan. Nos juges de départ, starters for women's events. Pour les épreuves féminines, Jennifer Flowers. Notre juge de départ and the starters for men's event, Sandra Rousseau.
At this time, we'd like to ask everyone to please rise if you are able and join Jeff Holmes in the singing of tonight's national anthem.
Je demande maintenant de vous lever, si vous pouvez, pour l'interprétation de l'hymne national, interprétée par Jeff Holmes.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Quatre bras et porter le pays, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Welcome everybody, welcome to night one of the Swimming and Paralympic Swimming Trials. I'm Sandrine Mainville and I will be your on-deck host for the evening. We have some great racing lined up for tonight and the swimmers need your energy. So you all received some thunderbolts tonight, I think, so let's try them to make sure they work. So let's cheer for your swimmers. Louder! Are you ready to start?
And we are set for action tonight. The first event in the pool, the men's 400-meter freestyle, the first chance for athletes to take a swing at Paris 2024. And we're excited to get going in this one. 10 lanes in the pool. Meeting the athletes now, Byron. There's Zach Parise.
Zach Parise, I'll have lane number 1. He's from the powerful Point Claire Swim Club. There's Seb Collins. I know one person in the stands that's very excited. His mom, Suzanne, is the CEO of Swim Canada. Nathan Versluis from Calgary. He was a silver medalist at the U Sport University National Championships this year in this very event, 400 freestyle. Jeremy Bagshaw, call me Dr. Bagshaw. He just graduated from medical school in Ireland. He swims out of BC. 32 years of age. Jordi Vilches, youngster from Barrie. His coach Andy Bobby has done a great job with that program in Barrie. Alex Axon, originally out of Newmarket, trains in Markham. He's known more for his 5K and 10K open water swims, but he finaled in the shorter distances at the Pan Ams. Timothy Barbeau was at the Pan Am team. There he is. He swims in the Olympic pool in Montreal, the one that was supposed to host these trials, but it had to get moved.
Good point.
Ethan Eck from Tallahassee. His 2 siblings are here with him. His parents met at British Columbia on the volleyball team, and now they're down in Florida. Your fastest qualifier, Eric Brown, also from Point Claire. There are 2 Point Claire swimmers in this one. Eric was on the Commonwealth Games team back in 2022, and he also has dabbled in the open water, the 10K swims, which take 2 hours, Rob. It's a little different than in the pool swimming. This one will take a little under 4 minutes.
I should mention Lauren Wigington did qualify quickest, however, has decided not to swim in the final, and so lane 4 to Eric Brown. He'll look to make the most of it.
Well, and people would wonder why, if he qualified first, would he do that? Well, his best event is later in the program in the next couple of days, and he's saving up for that to make sure he qualifies for the Olympics.
All right, top of the pool is lane 9. Edward Duffy, then Sebastian Pollins is in 8. Jeremy Dr. Bagshaw in 7. Alex Axon, who swept the 4, at least Eric Brown swept the 4, 8, and 15 last year. He's in lane 4. Alex Axon's in 6. Ethan X in 5. Brown's in 4. Tim Barbeau's in 3. Vichez is in 2. Versluis is in 1. And Parise is in lane 0. That's closest to us. You can see it there on the bottom of the pool.
Well, and a lot of people would wonder, why don't they just put the lanes 1 to 10? Well, the reason is that even though it's a 10-lane pool, very often, until recently, you only swim in the middle 8 lanes. Therefore, it would start with that second lane you see from the bottom, which would be lane 1, and it would move its way up.
So again, 400 meters, 8 lengths of the pool. The athletes, it's all about speed, endurance, and it's all about getting the pacing right, Byron, as they get to 100 meters. And the fastest is Eric Brown at 55.87. He's got a long way to go, and everybody else.
Well, the key here, there's 2 keys to this race, Rob. And the one is the time to qualify for the Olympic Games is 3:46.78. That's about 3 seconds faster than every single person in this field's best time. So it's a bit of a stretch for them to do it. The question is, what did they decide with their coach? Did they decide, I'm just going to go for this, and if I can't even climb out of the pool at the end, that's okay? Or I'm just going to get a good swim now, and my future is the Olympics maybe in 4 years. So they've got to make that decision coming into this and try to have a great race. The question is, can they drop their best time by that much? It's a big ask.
Eric Brown still in the lead at 125.46 over 150 meters. He's got a different kind of, you know, when he swims a little differently than everybody else. It seems a little slower, but he really reaches, does Eric Brown.
He's got, some of the coaches say he swims tall. He's got a big, long stroke, and therefore he doesn't have to turn over quite as fast. So 155.1, that's a 29-second lap. If he keeps that up, he's actually going to be able to drop under his best time and maybe challenge that time of 3:46. But he can't fall off in these next 250s. They're the key.
Alex Axon was 29.5 in his last 50. He is trying to keep pace. Remember, the 2 middle lanes are the 2 middle yellow lanes are 4 and 5. 4 is closest to us, and then 5. Flipping first is Eric Brown in lane 4, 250 meters, and 2:24.40.
So he's got a shot here if he can just stay with those kind of splits. He's got an absolute shot to be able to make it. Trying to give him a push over there in lane number 6 is Alex Axon, as you mentioned, Rob. He's from Newmarket, now trains out of Markham. with Coach Sean Baker. He was on the Pan Am team where he finaled in the 800 and the 1500. I saw him a month ago, and he had a blazing last 100 meters, so Axon could catch Brown if he's got that same last 100 meters.
Less than 100 meters to go now. Brown a slight lead on Axon, who's got a slight lead on Dr. Bagshop there in lane 7.
So they're going to be over the time. My math wasn't quite as good at the 200-meter mark. They're going to be around their best times, but that won't be under the Olympic qualifying time. But again, as I said, these guys are young. They've still got a lot in front of them.
21-year-old Eric Brown out of Pointe-Claire Swim Club has a PB of 3:50.68, but he is now in second place behind Alex Axon, who went 28.5 in that last 50, and he's taken the lead.
Look at the powerful kick on Axon. He was definitely paced this race brilliantly. A lot of people call it even splitting when you go out and come back just as fast, and he had that a month ago. He's got it again. He looks great, Rob.
He is just ripping. Alex Axon's got a body length lead, and it's Alex Axon's going to be first, and second place goes to Brown, and Bagshaw takes third. The 32-year-old taking another crack at it and enjoying it all, but Alex Axon in 3:50.10.
Basically, the swimmers are trying to keep their splits somewhat even, and then if you've got more at the tank at the very end, that's what you're going to do. And I saw Alex swam that 4 weeks ago, and he was brilliant in the way he split that one. And this one, he had by far the last length that he put into that length was faster than everybody by actually a full second almost. So very good swimming for Alex Axon. This is your last turn with 50 meters to go. Look at Axon over quicker than Eric Brown, pushes off, and it's off to the races. He's brought in that powerful motorboat kick at the end. Look at how powerful that kick is. Usually your legs are hurting. Look at some of the other athletes. They're trying to pick it up on the last length, but Axon has definitely got the class of this field in the 400-meter freestyle.
Summons his inner Kyle Chalmers in the last 50 meters there with the motorboat attached. Axon in 3:50.10. You see it is not quite the Olympic A standard for qualifying. We've got some young swimmers in the mix. Ethan Eck, the 16-year-old at 3:53.85. Solid result for him, but it was all about Alexander Axon, the winner, the Canadian champion in 2024.
Eric Brown, could you see him during the race?
Of course, me and Eric always race together as age group swimmers, and I'm just so proud of both of us to see how far we came. And now here at the national stage, it's incredible.
Do you have other swims this week?
Yeah, so this is just a small piece of the puzzle here this week. I still have the 200 free, 800 free, so look.
So that's a busy week, so good luck for the rest of the week.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Next event in the pool, women's 400-meter freestyle. This includes the world junior record holder in the middle of the pool in lane number 4, Summer McIntosh. She'll be getting a challenge from, well, the clock, and Catherine Hazel and Mabel Zavros on the lanes on either side of her. McIntosh set the world record in this event last year at the trials in this very pool.
Line number 9, Layla Arvosky. We just saw her teammate Jordy Vilches from Barrie. I said the Barrie program is really coming alive. She was on the 2023 World Junior and Pan Ams, and we'll have lane 9 at the top. At the bottom will be Tori McClensick. She's from Dorval, Quebec. Her dad, Chuck, is her coach. Maxine Clark will have lane number 9. She's out of Calgary. Back over to the other side, we got, there she is, Megan Miller. From Pointe-Claire, we saw a few Pointe-Claire swimmers in the last heat. Her sister is also a national level swimmer. Ella Cosgriff from the Montreal area, but now lives in Tucson. She was a world junior. When I say world junior, that's 18 and under. She was a finalist last year. Julia Strodnowski out of Vancouver, but trains in Langley. Her parents are tennis pros in the Vancouver area. Julie Brosseau, gold medal at the Pan Am Games last summer. She's from Ottawa under Coach Scott Faithful. Mabel Zavros, her twin Rosie used to swim, now married and living in Wisconsin. Double shoulder surgery, Zavros, in the fall. Tremendous comeback to be able to be here in this meet. Catherine Hazel, her mom was went to grad school in McGill as lane 5, but this is Summer McIntosh. She has lane number 4. As the great Penny Oleksiak said of Summer McIntosh, she's all gas and no brakes.
McIntosh 4th in this event in Tokyo at the Olympic Games in 21 as a 14-year-old. Silver the next year at the World Championships. Broke the world record here last year until it was taken away by Aussie Ariarne Titmus in the summer. Women's 400-meter freestyle final. 8 lengths of the pool underway. Summer McIntosh in lane number 4, the first of the 2 yellow lanes. And she went a cruising speed today of 4:09 in her heats. She's taking the lead already, Byron, by half a body length.
Well, Summer's best time is 15 seconds faster than everybody else in the field. That basically is half the pool. So she is racing, as you said earlier, Rob, she was racing the clock. It looks so easy this morning. The big question really is she going to lay it all on the table now to give the Australians something to aim for? I think that's the big question. Last year, she broke the world record, but it was only about a year that she had been working with her coach. So now all of a sudden, they've been together for 2 years. So they might know how to plan this out and maybe not quite go for the world record here. But boy, oh boy, it doesn't look like she's holding a lot back, Rob.
Her world junior record split 56.5. Oh, Byron, this is quicker. This is quicker than she swam last year.
She is right on that world record pace. The Aussie that broke the world record came back much faster than Summer did when Summer set her world record. So we'll have to see when we're comparing splits if she's going to be under that pace or not. What people forget is this woman is only 17 years of age. She said last year was a really big year, Byron. She said, I got my braces off and I got my driver's license. You don't think about those things when you got these youngsters swimming at such an incredibly high world level.
That last 50 was 29.83 for Summer McIntosh. She is through 170 now, 160 or so. The 200-meter split will be looking for 155.9. That's what she went in her world record swim last year. Look at this, Byron, a 3-4 body length lead. 156.05. She's just tiny bit above her personal best time.
And second spot at this point is at Julie Brasseau in lane number 6. She's barely in the picture right now. It's all Summer. You can see a good technique. Look where the arms are entering. They're right about where her shoulder are. They're not crossing way over the midline. Then you actually have to fade out with your pull to the side. It's very, very efficient. Summer also raises pretty high in the water when she swims, which means there's less resistance. Over, push, streamline, kick 1 or 2 dolphins. Only 1 dolphin kick off the wall. Interesting. I watched her talk to her about her training in Florida, and they have little buoys, little noodles that people have seen in recreation swimming at the 5-meter mark. So you must surface past that on every turn, which is one of the reasons her turns have become better.
So indeed it is McIntosh in the lead. We expected that. Brasseau is in second place up there in lane number 6. She's going to touch 300 meters, McIntosh, in 2:57.35. That's about a second and a half slower than she did in her world record swim last year.
Brasseau in second place is at 3:04. If she can really, really hammer this last bit, there's a chance she can get to that Olympic standard of 4:07.9. We're talking about her in lane number 6 in second spot out of Nepean outside of Ottawa.
Summer McIntosh looking to turn one last time. The crowd beginning to bring her home in this women's 400-meter freestyle final. She touches 350 in 3:28.44. McIntosh's Canadian record, world junior record, is 3:56.08. She may be a tiny bit off that, but she is pacing herself for Paris in 2024. It's a monstrous lead for McIntosh. She's going to come home to win the Canadian Olympic spot without a question, McIntosh in 3:59.06. And second place, Brousseau coming in strong. And she's going to touch in 4:08.12. And third place goes to Strzeżnowska in 4:11.08.
Oh, that's heartbreaking for Brousseau. She missed the Olympic qualifying time by 0.2 of a second. Brilliant race. She's even delaying, looking down to the other end of the pool to see what her time is. Very, 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 very tight. Great swim for Julie Brousseau. Just shy. There's Strzeżnowska with her third spot. Summer McIntosh. There's actually a clock that you can look up at. Summer said she looked up during the race a year ago and watched her splits. She would have seen her splits this time as well and known she fell off just a little bit. I kind of figured this is exactly what she was doing. People say, they're wondering, she trains in Sarasota, Florida. The family moved down there during the second lockdown in 2021, deciding we needed to protect her training and keep her training when everything was shutting down in Toronto. And then they've just stayed there. They found a good coach in Brett Arquet, and they're doing a great job together. Way out in front, look at that. You don't usually see this in big competition, somebody this far out in front. Summer McIntosh has a busy schedule this week. This is the first of many swims, and I think this is exactly what you need to be right now. She's in hard work, not putting it all on the line now because they don't have to right now. They're waiting for Paris.
3:59.06. It's the Olympic qualifying standard for Summer McIntosh, and she's on top.
Congratulations, Summer. With that swim, you've qualified to be nominated to the Olympic team. I mean, it's your second Olympic team, but first time that you're actually racing at Olympic trials before a crowd. Did that help for your performance tonight?
Yeah, for sure. Whenever I get a race in front of a huge crowd, they always keep me going throughout the race, and this is probably one of the biggest crowds I've ever swum in front of, so it's been really fun.
And what will be your goal for Paris?
Just to go out there and try my hardest and race the hardest ever, so that's always the goal, just to keep pushing forward and improving.
That's a good goal. So the official team is going to be announced on Sunday, but for now you can sign your name on the boarding pass.
And Byron, when you expect to have to sign a lot of autographs in your life, you got to have a short one. Her mom probably taught her that one.
Yeah, Mom and Dad very proud. And remember, they also have another daughter who's a national figure skater. So a very athletic family. Jill, on the left, their mom was an Olympic athlete in 1988.
So really nice to see the crowd reaction, and we hope that that will continue throughout the night and throughout the week. Next event in the pool, the women's 50-meter butterfly final. This is combined categories for Paralympic athletes. Willette, Dorris, Rutliff, and Tinney. So one length of the pool in this race.
Jessica Tinney from Ajax, 24 years of age, trains at Variety Village in Toronto. Coach Vicky Keith has done a marvelous job there. There's Danielle Dorris, 21 years of age, Moncton, New Brunswick. We mentioned her in the opening. Gold medal at the Olympic Games in Paralympic Games in 2021. There's Tess Routliff, 25 years old, veteran of the national team. Caledon, Ontario, now trains in Montreal. Won a silver medal in the Olympics in 2016 and was injured and couldn't go to Tokyo. So this will be her second Olympics if she can make the time. Anna Ouellette will have lane number 3. She swims out of Saskatoon. There's 4 athletes in the field.
By the way, Canada at the World Championships last year finished in 7th place in the medal haul with 19 medals. As the swimmers get ready for this 50-meter butterfly Paralympic combined events. Essentially, they'll be compared to the world rankings in their specific Paralympic category, ranked according to the Canada-Paris swimming point system, which uses the class and the time to calculate the points for the rankings. Canada will send as many as 50 women and 7 men to the Paralympic Games in Paris this year. length of the pool. Women's para 50-meter butterfly. Lane 3, Hannah Willett. Lane 4, Danielle Dorris. Lane 5, Tess Rutliff. Lane 6, Jessica Tinney from nearby Ajax, Ontario. And getting out really quickly in lane 4 is Danielle Dorris, the two-time world champion who had 4 medals at the World Championships last year.
Very, very quick. The time to qualify to go is 37.5. That is not going to be a difficulty for Danielle Dorris. Remember, she held a world record one time. To the wall, watch the time.
They've done 32.99 for Dorris, and then Rutliff, who was a gold medalist in the breaststroke at last year's World Championships, in second place. So it's about time, and it's about points. Danielle Dorris accumulating 1,146 points for her work, 902 for Rutliff. The other times are still being calculated as the other swimmers touch. It is Willett, and it is Tinney.
Well, and the good news is that Rutliff made the time as well. That Danielle Dorris just tied her best time, which was world record. So, you know, very, very good swim at this particular time for Danielle Dorris.
Out of Moncton, New Brunswick.
Just announced that it is definitely going to be a world record swim for Dorris, tying her best time. Good turnover. Notice she's not breathing all the time, not breathing every stroke. Head down, head down, head down, right to the wall. There you go. Boom, 32.99, world record in the S7 category, way under the qualifying time. She'll be going to Paris.
There you see it, 32.99, 1,146 points for Danielle Dorris, the S7 category, just ahead of her teammate Tess Rutliff, who also races in the S7 category and accumulates 902 points. The winner, Danielle Dorris.
Congratulations, Danielle. You've achieved a first 8 qualifying time of the week. It's equal to your world record. So what will you be working on for this summer?
Oh, I think definitely this summer's the goal is to beat my world record and go best time. I'm very ecstatic that I was able to match it today. I couldn't expect anything better, so I'm very happy.
How did that feel during the race? Did you have a good feeling?
Oh yeah, I dove right in and I was like, this is gonna be good. And halfway through, I was like, I just need to keep going. I felt like my legs were giving up and I was like, I need to go. But it was a lot of fun and I'm really happy.
So here's your standby pass from Air Canada. We hope that you get your flight confirmed for Paris when the official team announcement is made on Sunday. Thank you.
Well, all but official for Danielle Dorris. And she'll wait for the official announcement in a few days, but Byron, I expect that she will be on the plane going to Paris.
I don't think there's a problem with that one. Just because there is a limit of 15, there may be more than 15 that qualify. It's just that's the way it's allocated to different countries for different reasons. So that's why it has to be temporary. But obviously, if you're number 1 in the world, you're not going to have any issues.
Next event in the pool, men's para 50-meter butterfly. 2 athletes, one of them set a world record earlier today. There he is.
There he is, Nasabi from the Pacific Sea Wolves in Surrey, British Columbia. Set a world record. Now, the interesting thing about this is that he set a world record in the S4 category, but there isn't a 50 butterfly at the Paralympics in that category. So in order to go, he's got to go much faster and qualify under a more difficult category, an S5.
Yeah, it's tough, and sometimes that's the way things go. As Benoit Gouat was explaining to us earlier today, sometimes the decisions about how many athletes are going to be in each event are made long time ahead of time.
Yep.
And so you have to kind of go by the decisions of the International Paralympic Committee in that regard. But here we go with this men's 50-meter para butterfly. Sebastian Masabi is in lane 5. Charlie Giammichele is in lane 4.
Giammichele is out of Hamilton. I'm sure Hamilton is still ruining the day that they were going to get the Commonwealth Games for 2030 and couldn't quite get the funding together. It would have been nice to have another Games pool, just like this beautiful pool here in Scarborough. hosted the 2015 Pan Am Games.
So Giammichele, the S7 category swimmer, is out to a really quick start. In fact, the finish line is almost in sight for him. Sebastian Giammichele coming through and gets the touch in 33.88. Here comes Sebastian Wasabi in 39.68.
So it's just a tenth of a second slower than what Masabi did in the preliminaries when he set that world record for the S4 category. And just because the event's not at the Olympic Games or the Paralympic Games doesn't mean that it doesn't have bona fide world records, and he still gets to keep that world record that he set in the preliminaries.
And we understand his best event is the 100 free, so we'll be keeping an eye on him later in the week in that event.
Good starts into the water. Big lead by Giammichele, but the interesting part is because these gentlemen are in different categories, it actually ends up being a very, very close finish once you do all the points and the calculations. Giammichele comes up with 684 points, and Masabia comes in with 597 points for those two swims. There you go, you can see the points on the right there.
So again, those points go up against the world rankings. Charlie Giammichele takes it.
Congratulations. How did that swim feel for you?
It felt really good. Kind of hurt toward the end, but yeah.
What are your other swims plans for this week?
I got a lot. I got 100 breast tomorrow, 100 free, 100 back, 2 IM, and 50 free.
And is it your first Paralympic trials?
Yeah.
So good luck for the rest of the week. We hope you get your standby pass to go to Paris.
Next event in the pool, the also Paralympic 100-meter butterfly women's final combined event. Feature 5 different athletes in different categories again. Again, chasing after world rankings points. Closest to those in that world rankings category could earn a spot on the plane going to Paris 2024.
There comes Emma Van Dyke, S14 category. She's from Brock University in St. Catharines, Ontario, down by Niagara Falls. Angela Marina, Brantford Swim Club, lives in Cambridge. 2022 World Championship, she was 8th in the 200 IM, and in Tokyo, she was 6th in the 200-meter freestyle, one of the first women to ever final in a freestyle for Canada. There's Jamie Cosgriff. She'll have lane number 4. She swims out of Oakville, Ontario. 2023 World Para Championship. She was 4th in this very event, the 100-meter butterfly, and that was one of her first ever internationals. She's only 18 years of age.
So the way the rankings work, if it's an S14, you would expect that the world record, the world rankings would be a faster time than, say, an S9. And that's the range that we have in the pool. So again, you're comparing, yes, to each other, but also to those world records and world rankings.
Lane number 3 is Mary Jibb from Muskoka.
And we are underway. Women's para 100-meter butterfly in the pool. Van Dyke, Lave, Cosgriff, Marina, and Jibb in lanes 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Cosgriff in lane number 4, off to a really nice start. She is the S10 swimmer. Off to a really nice start.
And her best time is under that Olympic consideration time that she needs to attain. She's been 106 high. The whole time is 109 to get under consideration. So at the 50-meter mark, she's out in 31. So I think that 109 is easily attainable for Ms. Cosgriff in lane number 4. The question is, can any of the other athletes get down near to that time, the time that they need to get?
Trying to get on the Canadian team of We expect 15 women's swimmers, 7 men's swimmers, and there's 5 really good women's swimmers in the pool right now. Cosgriff in lane 4, leading, less than 5 meters to go. She is going to touch in 1:06.75, followed by Marina, 1:10.08. In third place. Looking at those ranking points, Cosgriff with 1,005 beside her name. So her time and her points are impressive.
Well, and anytime you come to a competition, you're trying to do a best time, and that is a best time by Jamie Cosgriff. Not only is it a best time, it's way under this consideration time of 1:09. So the 18-year-old from Oakville, a newcomer to the National Para team, is certainly setting herself up for a nice long career. Into the water cleanly. In and out, let's see the turn, touch, around, back, push off, streamline. No doubt right from the beginning, Cosgriff made sure that she was the leader and she was able to power it all the way to the end.
And it looks like a new personal best time, as Byron mentioned, for Jamie Cosgriff, punching her ticket, at least it seems, for Paris.
Congratulations, Katie. You look very happy right now. How did that feel for you?
It wasn't exactly the goal I was going for, but it is a best time, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to maybe be selected for my first Paralympic team. So,
yeah, you've achieved your A qualifying time going into Paris this summer, so it's not official yet, but do you have any goals if you go to Paris this summer?
If I go to Paris, I would like to podium. It's looking like it could be a possibility, so that's kind of the goal right now.
Well, I wish good luck for Paris and the rest of the week. Right now you get a standby boarding pass, and we hope that you get your flight confirmed for Paris later on this week.
Out of Oakville, Ontario, Jamie Cosgriff in 1:06.75 personal best time, and we expect to see her in Paris this summer. Next event in the pool, the men's 100-meter butterfly. This is combined categories, so para categories. Four different athletes racing, two different categories, in fact.
Vachon will have lane number 6. He's from Trois-Rivières, won a Commonwealth Games bronze medal back in 2018, and he was 4th at the 2023 Worlds. Reed Maxwell from Edmonton will have lane number 3. He's in S8 category. Fernando Liu, S10 category, will have lane number 5. He's from Langley, British Columbia. They have a powerful team. He did his best time in qualifying, and Alex Elliott also did a good time in the preliminaries. He is from Quebec City, pretty new to the international para scene. He's 27 years of age. And the key here is that lanes 6 and 3, the outside 2, are S8, and the time for them to qualify to Paris is 1:04.78, which is a little bit better than their best times. But in the middle of the pool, lane 4 and 5, Liu and Elliott, they're S10s, and their time to qualify is 59.06. And Elliott has done that before in his life, and Liu is pretty close.
Elliott was 100ths off doing that in the heats this morning, so we'll see if he can do that here. Underway. Men's para 100-meter butterfly. Reed Maxwell is in lane 3. Alex Elliott is in 4. Fernando Liu is in 5 feet. Vachon is in 6. The 2 S8 swimmers on the outside, the 2 S10 swimmers on the inside. They're looking to break 59.06, as Byron mentioned.
In order to do that, they've got to be down pretty quick. They've got to be down like 27 seconds probably if they're going to have a chance to get into the 59s or better. Ooh, they're close.
27.4 for Liu, 27.8 for Elliott.
Great turn by Lou in lane number 5. He really hammered it. Sort of like in the next event up is going to be Maggie McNeil's 100 butterfly. We'll watch that same kind of power off the turn. Is that going to be the difference from making the time or not?
This is going to be tight in the middle of the pool. Right now it's Fernando Liu in lane number 5 with a slight lead on Alex Elliott in 4. Here comes Elliott charging. This is going to be tight at the wall. Will they be under 59? They are at 59.35 for Liu, 59.45 for Elliott. And then coming through on the outside, 106.35 in lane number 3 for Reed Maxwell. And that is just outside that A standard.
So that's unfortunate. They're just a little bit over the A standard. Both the S10 boys in lane 4 and lane number 5. Maybe a couple too many breaths at the finish there for Mr. Liu in lane number 5. He had a pretty big lead there, and towards the end, he had a little bit of trouble keeping up the pace. And I think towards the end, you see a lot of the swimmers usually put their head down, and maybe that could have picked up a half a second for him. But they're really good at this point. Into the 50, coming on. Now watch Lou. He gets around much quicker and underwater. Watch him underwater, streamline, powerful, powerful kick. And he ends up almost a half a body length in front of his rival, Elliott. And now at the end, now watch it. Breathe, 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 breathe. Oh, and it just, you have to come up higher. You have to use your legs more when you're taking a breath like that. And it just takes a little bit more out of you. And who knows, that may have been the difference between just missing the time.
So Fernando Liu in 59.35 out of Langley, British Columbia.
So Fernando, second into the 100-meter butterfly. How did that swim feel for you?
It was a good swim. I cut some time from the morning swim, so I'm pretty happy about that.
So what other swims do you have lined up for this week?
I know I've got 100 breaststroke tomorrow, but I can't really think of the rest right now.
All right, well, good luck, get a good rest, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Full integration of Paralympic swimmers in the trials. Great to see. Next event in the pool. It is the women's 100-meter butterfly. And this is the event that Canadians have won medals in at the last 2 Olympic Games, have won gold in. Last time around, Maggie McNeil stood on top of the podium. She'll be right square in the middle of the pool as we get set to meet the athletes 10 in this final.
Genevieve Sussville from Chatham, Ontario, was training in the academy here in this very pool for a couple of years at the end of high school. Katie Forrester from the Oakville area now represents Markham Aquatic Club. She was 4th at the Pan Am Games this past fall. Lilia Pack from Langley. We just saw a para-swimmer from Langley, Olympians. This is from in the 100-meter butterfly women. Lilia Pack will have lane number 8. Lane number 1 will be Ashley Massey. Best time by over a half a second this morning. She swims at the Point Claire Aquatic Club, just outside of Montreal. Cameron Cannings. Her mom played basketball at UVic. Her cousin is Kelly Olenek. Those of you who cheer for the Raptors. He's a big basketball player. And her other cousin is Riley Nash on the New York Rangers. Quite an athletic family. Wow. Daniel Hannes out of Newmarket, now swims in British Columbia. Double medalist at the Pan Am Games. Back over to lane 6, Rebecca Smith from Red Deer, Alberta. At the age of 16, she moved to Toronto to join the National Center to go after her Olympic dreams, and she won an Olympic medal in Canada's relay. Kat Savard, 3-time Olympian, 14 years on the national team. Originally out of Quebec City, now swimming back there. A week shy of her 31st birthday. Mary Sophie Harvey, originally out of Trois-Rivières, training in Montreal. She said, both my parents were national swimmers, so it's logical that I did it. Bit of an up-and-down career, but now she's back on the high. Maggie McNeil, your Olympic champion, lane number 4 out of London, Ontario. Swam under Coach Andrew Craven when she was there. She did say that my life changed immensely after I won that Olympic gold medal. I felt a bit lost initially, but she's been able to get it back together, feel better, and one of the things she says that motivates me now is nobody has ever repeated as an Olympic champion in the women's 100-meter butterfly. So It's always nice to have extra motivation when you're trying to accomplish otherworldly items. Watch Maggie in lane number 4. She'll smash the block 3 times with her foot. A little bit easy.
Women's 100-meter butterfly final, the second fastest all-time in this event. Maggie McNeil comes out of the water in probably second place in lane number 4. Right beside her is Kat Savard, who had a wicked fast first 50 in the heats.
And the question on this is that if you have enough of your legs coming home, that's the key. Kat Savard this morning had real trouble finishing the race, so we'll see if maybe she's got the second 50, the second half of this race. Watch this turn now on Maggie McNeil. She has the best turn in the world. Underwater, underwater, kick, kick, kick. Watch where she pops up. Way in front.
Rebecca Smith split first, but here comes Maggie McNeil turning on the burners.
This is her strength, and this is how she won the gold medal at the Olympic Games, was on the second half of the length. Watch the time, here she comes.
Maggie McNeil's got a half a body length lead. The battle is for second place. Mary Sophie Harvey is charging. Here comes Maggie McNeil in 56.61. And then it's Mary Sophie Harvey in 57.31. And that is inside the qualifying standard for Paris.
Oh, that's pretty happy for Mary Sophie. There's Rebecca Smith. Unfortunately for Rebecca, she made the standard, but she finished third. There's only 2 events, only 2 athletes allowed in swimming. In track and field, it's 3, but in swimming, it's only 2 swimmers. So Rebecca Smith's on the outside looking in. Mary Sophie Harvey gets to go to her second Olympics. There's Kat Savard, the veteran. It's going to be tough for her to make this team. This is probably one of her better chances. She does have a chance in the 100 freestyle. Off the start. Some of the athletes like to throw their arms around to the side. Some of them throw under. Maggie likes to throw them out to the side. Popping up. Don't take a breath on your first stroke up. You don't need a breath. You need to maintain your streamline, and that's what she did. Now again, watch this turn around. Quick. Get their legs on the wall, and now underwater. Look at that powerful dolphin kick. And by the time she comes up, the race is over. Now it's just a question of the time. 2 races at 56.5, 56.6. It's a real good sign for Maggie McNeil. She touches first, then you can see Mary Sophie Harvey comes in for second spot. And as I said, Mary Sophie's been an up and down career, and she looks back on form, and this is good for Canada because she's also a very good freestyler, and Canada will need Mary Sophie for those relays.
Well, and it was great to see the camaraderie at the end. Everybody hugging Maggie McNeil, everybody happy for each other's success, but Maggie McNeil on top, punching her ticket to Paris.
Congratulations, Maggie. You've qualified to be nominated to the Olympic team. That will be your second Olympics this summer. You'll be defending your gold title for the 100-meter butterfly. What will be your goal going into Paris this summer?
Just trying to improve and keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, it's been working, but just hoping to have a real Olympic experience this time, and of course excited to see who's going to make the team this week.
And it's the first time that you've actually been doing the Olympic trials in front of a crowd. Did it help your performance for tonight?
For sure, the crowd is so electric, and we're always so grateful for their support, but it was definitely something we missed last time.
So you can actually sign your name on the boarding pass, and the official team is going to be announced on Sunday. So congrats again, and good luck for the rest of the week.
Thanks so much.
Well, the Olympic champion, the world champion, the second fastest butterflyer of all time, signs her name on the ticket to Paris. Byron, it won't be made official until Sunday, but we know she's going to Paris.
Oh, yeah. All right, and she's a veteran. I mean, you have to remember that until she would win the silver medal in 2023 Worlds, she hadn't lost in 4 years. I mean, so we're talking one of the premier swimmers in the 100 butterfly in the world.
Next event in the pool, the men's 100-meter breaststroke. This is the event that was owned by Great Britain's Adam Peaty for a long stretch of time.
Bravo, Marie-Sophie! Donc, la crowd est vraiment excitée pour toi ce soir. C'est en fait la première fois que tu t'es inscrit à une épreuve individuelle pour les Jeux olympiques. Comment tu te sentais avant la course?
J'avais juste hâte de nager, honnêtement. Le 100 mètres papillon, c'est un peu une épreuve bonus. Fait que ça enlève un peu de stress pour le reste de la compétition. Puis là, je peux juste continuer à avoir du plaisir pour le reste de la semaine.
Puis on sait justement que tu as une semaine assez chargée. Donc, ça va être quoi ta stratégie pour bien te reposer pour les prochains jours?
Bien récupérer.
So actually, Mary Sophie is going into her first individual swim at the Paris. So she was just saying that she thought it was really nice, and it's kind of a surprise event for her. So we wish her luck for the rest of the week, and we'll see how it goes.
Merci beaucoup à tout le monde.
Next event in the pool, the men's 100-meter breaststroke, a final 10 athletes ready to race. And an event that was dominated by Great Britain's Adam Peaty for a long time, and now feeling the challenge from a swimmer from China. We'll get into that at some point, I would imagine. Byron?
Absolutely, it'll be fun to watch. 10 athletes in this final. There you've got Brody will have lane number 9. He's out of Ajax, which is just down the highway a few kilometers from this very pool. Over in lane number 1, Chris Raymond from Trois-Rivières University. He said, I'm a part-time firefighter. Luca Ciandassi from a small town close to Lake Erie in southeastern Ontario. He will have lane number 8. Back over in lane number 2, only 16 years of age, the future of breaststroke in Canada, Oliver Dawson. His dad, Alex, is his coach in Grand Prairie, Alberta. They emigrated over from Great Britain a few years ago. That was Lissaway that we just saw there in lane number 1. We'll see Dawson in the second. Mignot will have lane number 7 from Port Coquitlam, BC. Trains at the National Center. There's young Oliver. He went to the World Juniors last year, which is 18 and under, best 18 and unders in the world, and he's only 15 then. Braden Tevisalo will have lane number 6. He's 19 years of age, trained in this very pool, and when he was in high school, he said, I was in this very pool at the Pan Am Games in 2015, 8 years ago, and was very inspired. Apollo Hess, a member of the Blackfoot Nation from Lethbridge, Ontario, U-Sport national champion in the breaststroke. Gabe Mastromateo, also a former national champion in U-Sports, was on the Olympic team in Tokyo. He's from Kenora, Ontario, and his mom was his coach in high school. Finley Knox is a new event for Finley. He's your world champion in the 200-meter individual medley at the World Championships in February, but he's trying to get individual swims in other races, and he's taken up the breaststroke, and surprise, surprise, he's your fastest qualifier. He's out of Okotos, Alberta, which is just south of Calgary. He was actually born in England, lived in New Zealand for a while in Australia, now he's here in Canada.
Well, Finley Knox might have surprised a few people. I don't suppose he's surprised himself, winning a World Championship gold medal in the 200-meter IM in Doha just a couple months ago. Just missed his personal best earlier today in the heats. We'll see what he has in the tank here. Finley Knox and Gabe Mastromateo are in the middle of the pool. We expect them to battle for top spot.
And in this race, the winner is going to get the gold because they need a breaststroker for the medley relay that's already qualified for Paris.
We're underway, men's 100-meter breaststroke, a final 2 lengths in the pool. Mastromateo is in 5, the upper of the yellow lanes, but look at this start by Finley Knox, and beside him, Apollo Hess looks really quick.
Apollo Hess has phenomenal speed in lane number 3, just below those 2 yellow buoys, the yellow markers. But he sometimes has a little bit of trouble coming back on the second one, but he'll take this field out. Finley Knox, really great start. Now watch again on this turn. Mastromateo isn't as good on the walls, so he's going to have to try to make up ground.
Apollo Hess in 28.04 had the lead at the split, but here comes Finley Knox coming on strong in lane 4.
Anybody's race at this point. You got Hess, you got Knox, and you got Mastromateo, 3-man race. This looks a little bit like 3 years ago at the trials.
A spot in Paris is on the line. Who's going to get it right now? Finley Knox has a slight edge. Here comes the field trying to challenge Finley Knox. Is he going to hold on? Yes, he is in 1:00.66. Finley Knox, and then in second was Apollo Hess, followed by Braden Tavisello, who won the 200 breaststroke at last year's Nationals. He's in 3rd place.
There's Apollo Hess right there, as I mentioned, a member of the Blackfoot Nation, Lethbridge, Alberta. He moved here this past 12 months to be at the National Center in the Pan Am pool here in Toronto, and he's dropped his best time. over a half a second. That's a great swim for Apollo Hess. As I said, the winner goes. The time to qualify automatically for an individual swim is 59.5. The athletes didn't attain that, but they attained a time that is going to get them for Finley Knox on the Olympic team already, because they do need a breaststroke for the medley relay.
Another personal best for Finley Knox.
Very good swim, in and out of the water. 3 of them right together. Knox closest, in the middle I should say, Apollo Hess closest. You're allowed 1 big dolphin kick. And then at this point, Finley Knox is actually starting to tighten up, but he's got enough of a lead and enough of power in those last 2 strokes to be able to get to the wall. Another good shot of it, and then Hess is on the right. He comes in second spot, and then young Tavasalo out-touches Master Mateo for the bronze medal.
Apollo Hess comes in under 101. Salvacello just over 101. But it is Finley Knox, the world champion in the IM, who punches a ticket in the breaststroke.
Congratulations, Finley. You put yourself in a position to be considered for nomination to the medley relay. That's actually a best time for you in the 100 best, right? How confident were you going into the race?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just started swimming 100 breaststroke this year. So everything I do is kind of a build up for the 200 IM, and just going in without any expectations and just having fun and with a smile on my face, and happy to get the hand on the wall first.
So you have the 200 IM. So what would be your goal? How would you prepare for the rest of the week for this race?
Yeah, I think just being confident in myself and making sure I'm executing the race right, how we talked with the coach, and just staying confident. Confidence is key.
So we'll have to wait to find out for sure on Sunday when the relay-only positions are confirmed at the official team announcement, but we wish you good luck for the rest of the week.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for coming out. Oh.
Sorry.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm so impressed with Finley Knox. He just keeps doing it in different disciplines, and as he mentioned, it's all part of the build-up for the 200 IM, and I just love the way he's approaching it, Byron.
Well, he is, and you know, he's tried to get on the relays. He desperately wants to be on a relay, because relays are fun, and so he's already started to be on the 4x1 freestyle or 4x2 freestyle relays. So this was a bit of a shot in the dark, to be honest, to get on the medley relay and swim the breaststroke, but it's good for Canada that he's doing it, because obviously he's the fastest guy. And if Canada wants to try to sneak into the finals like they did in Tokyo, you're going to need a breaststroker to split really well.
And he's a gamer. That's what I love, too. He loves a race.
He certainly does, certainly does. And, you know, he made a big move from Okotos, Alberta to come to this national center when he was 18 years of age here in Toronto. And it paid off. It paid off really well. And he said, I want to be a professional swimmer. And so far, that's exactly what he's doing. This year, actually, he made the move to the other national center across the country. He's now training in Vancouver, British Columbia at the National Center out there under new coach Scott Talbot, who's doing a real good job out there. So, you know, there's lots of things that are going to happen and change, and he seems to be doing all the right things. I know he had to get a new apartment. One of the things he had to do was move all of his artwork. He's a great artist, and all the artwork in his apartment is his own. So that's kind of an interesting. He does have some spare time, so I guess he's very good at it.
Well, and I could see a way of funding your athletic career as well. You know, getting a piece of art that was made by a world champion, I think a lot of people would think that was a pretty cool thing.
Well, we're going to have to get him an agent.
He probably has one already. Yeah, the pride of Okotoks, Alberta. Nicely done. Finley Knox, 1:00.66, another personal best time. And he might well have just put himself on the plane for Paris and onto a relay. Nicely done.
We're just waiting right now for the medal ceremonies. Obviously one of those, one of the first ones will be the men's, then the women's 400 free. We'll get to see Summer McIntosh.
Well, Byron, this event was originally going to be held in Montreal. We were pretty much all ready to go, and as was everyone else. Hotels were booked and flights were booked, and then there were obviously issues with the Olympic training facility, and there was a fire, and they just weren't going to be able to get it open and ready in time for health reasons. And all of a sudden, they had to move the whole shoot match over to Toronto, but thankfully this pool had held lots of events in the past and had done it.
They have the support staff, and they have people that understand that this pool was built for this kind of thing. This was not built as a recreation-only pool. There are 3 pools here, actually, right? And so there is the ability to still have lessons. There are actually lessons going on this evening, right? And so in the other pool. And so Rafael Torre, who was one of the head guys here, was able to turn on a dime and make this thing happen. And it was a hard thing to do. It's 4 weeks preparation to put on a big Olympic trials. There's, you know, they've got 2,500 seats, and half the races, or half of the evenings are sold out. So it was a very big task to do. And as you said, the Canadian Olympic Committee and others got on side, and sponsor Air Canada got on side, and I think some others as well, to say, hey, we'll refund your airplane ticket and give you a credit to another flight, so that, you know, everybody didn't lose all that money, because it would have been a lot of sunk costs planning to go to Montreal. It was a bit of a change, and it was a big change, and it happened at the last minute. Not a lot of places could do that. So kudos to all those people involved to be able to make it happen here in Toronto. This is a very good pool. It is a very fast pool. The people that designed it, it's what's called a Murtha pool. It's a company, and it's a bit of a misnomer, because they basically say, oh, it's a what do you call it, a temporary pool. Well, it's not a temporary pool. It's very permanent, but it's a prefab pool, meaning they basically design it all, send all the stuff here, and then basically put it together. And they have 20 pools, I'm told, at the Paris Olympics. All the top pools, all the competitive pool, and then there's recreation pools and everything. So Murtha's, they're the biggest pool maker, certainly the biggest prefab pool makers in the world, I think. It's a company based out of Italy. I know one of their chief people that sells the pools around the world is a man named Trevor Tiffany, who was the CEO of Swim Canada about 25, 30 years ago.
Well, and you mentioned temporary pool. As I understand it, when the U.S. puts on its trials in another month or so, they are quite literally putting up a pool in the middle of a football stadium.
They certainly are in Indianapolis. They felt that the one in where they used to be holding it in Nebraska wasn't big enough, even though it was also in sort of a mini stadium. And it turned out that their Olympic trials are the same week as the College World Series of Baseball. And they did not have enough hotel rooms in Omaha, Nebraska. So they decided, well, we're going to go big. We're going to go really big. And we're going to go in, I think it's the Lucas Oil Arena, or stadium, I guess you'd call it, in Indianapolis. I mean, it holds 75,000 or something. But I'm not sure they're going to have 75,000 seats. I think they'll move the pool a little bit closer to one side. But still, they'll have 30 or 40,000 seats. But USA Swimming can, I don't know if they'll sell that many, but they usually sell 20,000 seats, so it'll be interesting. And then afterwards, after the trials are over, they dismantle that pool and they sell it to somebody. Somebody buys the pool and they can put it, you know, wherever.
Well, it's fascinating to watch when they show the video of the slow motion, or not slow motion, you know, where it sits there for a day or two at a time, and you watch the whole process as they build that pool. Time lapse. There we go. That's the word. It's fascinating to see how that happens over a period of 8 or 10 days.
Oh, it's amazing. It really is. I mean, they've got it down to a science, obviously, right? But it's very good. And a lot of people ask me, what makes a pool fast? You know, is it just that it looks nice? Well, of course, that is really nothing to do with it. It's a question of how calm is the water in the pool. That really is what it boils down to. You've got great lane markers that they've tested, and they've cut down on the waves and everything, but the most important thing is the amount of calm water around a swimmer. So therefore, the deeper the pool, you've got all that calm water, the better. And of course, the wider the pool. But basically, the World Aquatic Body has said, you know what, we're not going to get ridiculous here. All the big international competitions, the lanes are 2.5 meters wide. And that's a pretty good pool if you've got it that. And Canada was the first one to actually go from 2 meters deep to 3 meters deep when Canada hosted the 2005 World Championships. And it was lightning fast, and everybody said, okay, I guess we got to go 3 meters deep now. And so now the Olympics and a lot of the best pools in the world are now 3 meters deep, just to give that little extra calm water around the athlete.
And before that last race, which was the women's 100-meter butterfly, I mentioned that a Canadian was on the podium in that event at the last 2 Olympic Games. Of course, Maggie McNeil won gold in Tokyo, but Penny Alexiak was a medalist in that event in 2016. So how about an update on Penny?
Penny basically has been fighting injuries for about 18 months. And she's healthy now, but you need some gas in the tank, you know, when you're going for these big international competitions. So she is such an athlete that I believe that she will still have a chance, possibly even to win her favorite event, her signature event, the 100-meter freestyle. Don't know if she'll have enough in the tank for the 200-meter freestyle. Needs a little more background training for that. But the key here is Canada needs Penny Oleksiak. If the relays are going to have a chance at winning a medal, you've got to have a stud like Penny Oleksiak on that team. You'll have Maggie McNeil on the team. Taylor Ruck is actually now the youngster that was so good in 2016 and 2018 and was a little bit off form after that, is now rounding back into great form as well. She's gone back home to Phoenix, training in the program there, doing very well. And again, she split really well at the World Championships in February. So now all of a sudden, you've got a threesome and the foursome that, I mean, these women all have to perform on the day here in the 100-meter freestyle trial, but they are the odds-on favorites to make that relay. And the foursome, the one they're looking for is the woman we just saw in the 100-meter butterfly here, Mary Sophie Harvey. She's taken up the 100 butterfly, great swim, best time, but that's really important because if she can translate that into the freestyles where she's also swimming very well, that'll give Canada another member and a good elite member for that freestyle relay. And more importantly, the other three women we were talking about are really, really good when they're second, third, or fourth in the relay. You know, there are certain people that are great leads and certain people that are great anchors or whatever. None of them is really superstar. They're not as good. They'll be fine, but they're not as good if they're the lead. Mary Sophie is a person who likes to lead relays. And so there, all of a sudden, you might have yourself a good situation. It's all got to play out. Let's see what happens. That's why we have a trials. That's why we, you know, they train. But there are lots of things in the mix here to try to maximize because in my mind, Rob, there's 4 really good world-class teams in the 400 freestyle relay and the 800 freestyle relay for the women. One of those countries isn't winning the medal. Right. So you're going to have to do everything right. And I don't think anybody's touching the Aussies. So.
Well, the Australians and the Americans, for whatever reason, choosing to hold their trials much later. I believe it's about 3 weeks away for the Aussies, and it's about a month away for the Americans, if I'm not mistaken. But everybody has a different approach and way to do it. And we talked earlier about, you know, the Canadian Finley Knox, who is a gold medalist at World Championships, and he's had to kind of balance his year and peak then, kind of peak here, and then peak again in Paris as we get set now for our medal ceremonies.
The bronze medalist, la médaille de bronze, from island swimming, Jeremy Bagshaw. Silver medalist, la médaille d'argent, from the Point Claire Swim Club, Eric Brown. Gold medalist, et la médaille d'or, from the Markham Aquatic Club, Alexander Axon. Congratulations to our medalists in the men's 400 freestyle.
On top, 21-year-old on top. That shows well. It's not an A standard for these games, Byron, but it's a really good swim for Alex Axon.
Certainly is, and take a good look at the man on the right there, Jeremy Bagshaw. You know, almost 10 years on the national team, on out the national teams. Just finished his medical degree over in Ireland. I said, well, what's next? He says, I've applied for places I'd like to work in Victoria and Vancouver. That's where my family is now, so I'd like to get back there, so we'll see. He's a veteran for sure. But it is good to see those youngsters young in swimming. Very often you'll see 17, 18, 19-year-old boys, 20-year-old boys. They're young, right? And you'll see them in the next Olympic Games, I'm sure. Next event we're waiting for the medals as they are getting ready to parade them out should be Summer McIntosh and the woman in the 400-meter freestyle.
Before we do that, Byron, I want to bring up one of your favorite all-time athletes, and because the 400, the great Ryan Cochran, who still holds the Canadian record in that event at 3:43.46.
Well, and I think what I want to say about Ryan is that he's a fantastic athlete, and he basically carried Canadian swimming. I mean, Canadian swimming is where it is today because we didn't reach a low point and win no medals or whatever. He was able to win a couple medals 2008, and I think that was 2012. That was very, very critical, as these women are the benefit, and everybody was the beneficiary of Ryan Cochran carrying Canadian swimming for about 8 years.
Medals will be presented by Marlon Bowman, Global Head of Competitive for Speedo.
Bronze medalist, la médaille de bronze, from the Langley Olympians, Julia Strenowska. Silver medalist.
La médaille d'argent.
From the P and Canada Barracudas, Julie Brousseau. Gold medalist.
Et la médaille d'or.
And swimming under the Olympic qualifying standard in the 400 freestyle, Summer McIntosh. Congratulations to our medalists in the women's 400 freestyle.
Félicitations à nos médaillés.
Summer McIntosh, gold medal, 3:59.06. Not her best time, but I think she's in the middle of training. This is just basically almost like a workout swim for her. Good swim by Brousseau on the left, just missed that Olympic qualifying time, however. But again, she's young, she's going to be around for a while. As is Stronowski, the bronze medalist. One of Summer's father, there is Mom Jill, who was in the, I might have said 88, she was in the 84 Olympic Games, and she had to win a swim-off. Catch that, she tied. And there are only 2 entries, she tied for second. She had to win a swim-off the day after the trials were over in order to get her berth to the Olympic Games. Talk about stress. One of Summer McIntosh's sponsors is Tag Heuer, and probably appropriate because she loves F1 car racing, and I'm sure they'll make sure that she gets down. I know she trains in Sarasota, as we've said, and she went down to the Miami F1 series last year. Those that follow swimming will know that there was a big headline about a couple months ago, and Summer McIntosh beat the great, almost invincible Katie Ledecky, the American superstar who's won 3 gold medals, 3 Olympics in a row in the 800-meter freestyle, had not lost that race in any major competitions for 11 years, and Summer beat her. And that was huge. And a lot of people said, well, then she's got to swim that at the Olympic Games.
Yep.
Doesn't fit in the program of the events that she wants to do. It's unfortunate, really, because I think she could give it a whale of a go, but it's just not something that she's going to do. And between her and her coach, they've decided, yeah, it might be a good one, but we're not going to do it. We're going to stay with the events that we like.
That was a clue on Jeopardy, by the way.
Was it really?
A few weeks after, yes, as we see the next athletes getting ready for the medal presentations.
Médailles seront présentées par l'honorable Louis Mitchell, 18e lieutenant, le gouverneur d'Alberta et directrice de la Fondation paralympique canadienne. Medal will be presented by the Honorable Louis Mitchell, 18th Lieutenant Governor of Alberta and Director of the Canadian Paralympic Foundation.
Bronze medalist.
La médaille de bronze.
From the Saskatoon Lasers, Hannah Wallet.
La médaille d'argent.
Silver medalist.
Rougeard Percé Laval. Tess Bertliff.
Gold medalist.
La médaille d'or.
In a time that equal her world record time in the S7 classification from CNBO, Danielle Dorris. Congratulations to our medalists in the women's para 50 butterfly.
Félicitations à nos médaillés.
Danielle Dorris ties her best time, which is a pretty amazing thing because she has the world record. So she tied the world record in winning the para 50-meter butterfly. As she said, I'd like to win the medal. I'd like to win, you know, and so she's getting herself ready to go.
Well, and she's a big deal, I think, in Moncton, New Brunswick as well. I'm sure if anyone's watching back there, we're glad to have you along, and you must be proud of the performance that we just saw.
Silver medalist.
La médaille d'argent.
with a world record time set this morning in the S4 classification from the Pacific Seawolves, Sebastian Masabi. Gold medalist, la médaille d'or, from the Golden Horseshoe Aquatic Club, Charlene Giammichele.
Great swim, Masabi there on the left broke the world record for the S4 50-meter butterfly. It is a world record. However, the S4 does not have a 50 butterfly at the Olympics, so unfortunately he wasn't able to qualify in the S5 category that he had to swim here. But he's got other events later in the program, Rob, and we'll see him in those. Yep. And now we're getting ready for the para 100-meter butterfly women award ceremony.
Bronze medalist, la médaille de bronze, from the Brantford Aquatic Club, Angela Marina. Silver medalist, la médaille d'argent, from the Muskoka Aquatic Club, Mary Gibb. Gold medalist, la médaille d'or, with a new Canadian record for the S10 classification from Oakville, Katie Cosgriff. Congratulations to our medalists in the Olympic and Paralympic butterfly.
A really strong swim that was. Women's para 100-meter butterfly, especially from Jamie Cosgriff, the 18-year-old from Oakville who swam 106.75, piling up 1,005 points using the Paralympic ranking system. The S10 swimmer out of lane number 4 was a really impressive swim.
Well, and she's a newcomer, only 18 years of age, so you know there's going to be a lot of para competitions that she's going to be going to over the next 4, 5, 6 years for sure. Last year was her first international competition, and she's heading into Paris, it looks like, you know, bona fide contender. Wait, the men are coming out. Here they come. Awards for the men's para 100-meter.
Bronze medalist,
la médaille de bronze de natation Région de Québec, Alexander Elliott.
silver medalist, la médaille d'argent, from the Langley Olympians, Fernando Liu. Gold medalist, la médaille d'or, with a new Canadian record in the S8 classification from Edmonton Pianos and Club, Reed Maxwell.
So it was interesting how Reed Maxwell, who technically finished third in the race, but accumulated the most points through the Paralympic system and set a Canadian record, in fact, in his S8 category, ended up being the winner.
I know, that's the complicating thing. Obviously, that doesn't happen in the Paralympics because there is a critical mass of numbers, so you don't actually join different, very often anyway, you don't join the different categories.
Right.
So he was definitely slower. He finished third, but he actually won.
Some people might wonder, when you saw Reed Maxwell standing there with an artificial leg, if you're watching, say, track and field at the Paralympic Games, they would be using prosthetic devices, but you cannot use prosthetic devices in the pool. You cannot have any kind of equipment with you in the pool. So the water is sort of seen to be as a little bit of an equalizer.
I can see the argument for sure, right? And I'm not so sure the ones that I've seen in track and field, they wouldn't help you in the pool. Right? I think you'd be slicing through the water, right? You know, it wouldn't, I don't think it would help at all, actually, right? But they could probably design something if they really were going to allow it to happen, but they're not going to, so. Here we come, women's 100 butterfly, lots of happy people here. Well, maybe not Rebecca Smith on the right there. She made the Olympic qualifying time, but you're only allowed to send 2, so she actually won't be going.
She looks happy.
Yep.
Médaillé d'or aux Olympiques pour les États-Unis. Medal presenter is Cullen Jones, Senior Manager of Sports Marketing, an Olympic gold medalist for Team USA.
Bronze medalist.
La médaille de bronze.
From the Cascade Swim Club, Rebecca Smith. Silver medalist.
La médaille d'argent.
In a time under the Olympic qualifying standards from Camo, Mary-Sophie Harvey. Gold medalist.
La médaille d'or.
And also under the Olympic qualifying standard, the 100 butterfly from the London Aquatic Club, Maggie McNeil.
Well, Byron, so many of these swimmers mentioned to you or mentioned in interviews over the years how they were in this Pan Am pool back in 2015 or at some other point and watched some superstar performance. And now you wonder who's in the pool today that we don't know about yet, who we'll be talking about in 4 years' time.
And that's one of the beauties of a facility like this. I mean, in Victoria, we just earlier, 10 minutes ago, we're talking about the great Ryan Cochran. Well, they built that pool in Victoria for the '94 Commonwealth Games. And if that hadn't been there, Ryan Cochran says, you know what? I don't think I would have kept swimming. I got disappointed when I was 13, 14. But the fact that they had a little junior team and everything was there and it was exciting, he said that all of a sudden got me through that hump. And, you know, what's the phrase? Bob's your uncle?
The rest is history.
The rest is history. So, but that's the value of these kind of facilities. They can really, under the proper care and the proper programming, you can really bring forward some swimmers in your community and or other communities that might move to take advantage of it.
Bronze medalist. La médaille de bronze. From the Markham Aquatic Club, Braden Davisalo. Silver medalist.
La médaille d'argent.
High Performance Center, Ontario, Apollo Hess. Gold medalist.
La médaille d'or.
From the Scarborough Club, High Performance Center, Vancouver, Finlay Knox.
Well, we talked about Finlay. Finlay's the breaststroker for the medley relay now. Second spot, Apollo Hess. Be interesting. There have been times in the past when they have taken an alternate for the second breaststroker, just in case the breaststroker gets injured, because you can't fake the breaststroke. It's a very specific stroke. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's the stroke that people use to swim really easy in public swim. But in racing, it's by far the most difficult to master. And you can have a freestyler that might be able to do the butterfly, or butterfly can do the freestyle, and you can usually get a backstroker. But breaststrokers are very, very unique. And therefore, in case Finley, for sake of argument, gets injured or something, you would not have a breaststroker. You'd have to actually get rid of your medley relay probably. So they might just consider Apollo Hess for that alternate spot. We'll have to wait till Sunday when they name the team to see if he gets that bonus.
What's been really interesting at the world level is last year we had Chin Hai Yang, who set an Asian record and this at the World Championships, and sort of pointed towards Adam Peaty's world record as a goal for him. And but then there's been others like Martin Nengi and Nick Fink, all trying to challenge Adam Peaty as we get set. Our next event in the pool now is the men's 400-meter freestyle B final.
And what we mean by this is that what Swim Canada has done is you have the A final, the fastest 10 swimmers, no matter how old they are. Now the B final is the fastest next 10 swimmers that are 19 years of age or older. And then the C final will be the next 10 after that are 18 years and younger.
So again, 10 lanes of the pool. And the middle lanes in this B final, Kieran Watson out of UNCAN. Not sure what that club stands for, Byron, my bad. 21-year-old, he is in lane 4. Victor Dagenet is in lane number 5. Often the race is right there in the middle of the pool in 4 and 5. But this is 8 lengths of the pool in this men's 400-meter freestyle.
Dagenet swims in lane number 5. He swims at the Camo Club, which is the one that trains out of Claude Robillard, which is the other pool built for the Olympic Games in Montreal, which was the alternate site when the Olympic pool went down. They almost held the trials there. Good pool, but didn't have a warm-up facility, so they ended up moving it here to Toronto.
So we're underway in the men's B final in the 400-meter freestyle. 8 lengths of the pool. We'll start on the bottom in lane 0. That is Kieran Stone. Olivier Risk is in 1. Hugo Janvier is in 2. Paul McKenzie in 3. Kieran Watson in 4. Victor Dagenet is in 5. Guillaume Lord is in 6. Max Meridat 7. Sergio Quevedo is in 8. And Diego Paz is in 9.
So it's 8 lengths of the pool. As we mentioned, right there in the favorites would be in lane 4 and 5. The way it works is after the preliminaries, the next 10, as we said in the B final here, the fastest qualifier is given lane 4, then the next fastest lane 5, then it comes back over to lane 3, back over to lane 6, except alternating until you end up with the slowest 2 swimmers in theory in lane 0 and lane number 9.
2 swimmers in the middle of the pool in lanes 4 and 5 are leading the way. In lane 4, Kieran Watson went 3:59.16 earlier today in his heat.
He's got a very unique stroke. He just kind of throws his left arm over. A lot of coaches actually wouldn't really like that. They wanted to bend the elbows a bit, but you know what? It seems to set him up nicely, and he doesn't wiggle. The biggest problem when you throw your arms like that is that you might wiggle in the water and create more resistance, but he's able to keep his arm pretty straight when he does it. You see this a lot. You see this a lot more in sprinters where they do what they call the straight arm recovery, but usually you don't see it in 400-meter freestyles.
So Watson's 150 time was 126.4. Let's see what he comes through here at the midway point. And the time will be 156.64. He did that last 50 in 30.19. And he's starting to extend his lead to a full body length. In second place in lane 5, Victor Dagenet. And in third place, it looks like lane 3, Paul, or at least lane 6, Guillaume Lord.
Tight battle, and you've even got there in lane number 3 below those 2 yellow lane lines. Lane number 3 is Paul McKenzie. And Paul McKenzie swims at the University of Calgary. He's lived in Australia, the Netherlands, and then eventually moved to Calgary to go to high school. So he is lane number 3. He's in 4th, tied for 3rd spot right now behind the early leaders. Watson, Dagenet, and then you got a battle between Lord and McKenzie.
Byron, how do you know how much to kick in these races? Because it's different for the different distances.
And the distance freestylers usually are a little bit light on their legs. And I'm not an exercise physiologist, so I can't give you exact amounts, but the kick really doesn't give you that much propulsion. It's very much for balance, and therefore it sucks up a lot of oxygen, so you want to reserve more of that for your arms. You'll see in the sprints, it's like a motorboat. In the longer distances, usually there's a little bit of a stutter sometimes with some of these athletes, and you can even see that with your leader. And it's not a big, powerful kick. You see a splash every once in a while, but you watch towards the end when they don't have to worry about saving any oxygen in muscle, they'll start pouring it on.
So the white cap in lane number 4, Kieran Watson continues to lead, hits 350 meters at 3:27.69. He is trying to get under 4 minutes. He went 3:59.1 in his heat today. He is still in the lead by a body length over the man in lane 4, or at least lane 5, Victor Dagenet.
Oh, he's starting to tighten up a little here at the very end, but he's certainly going to do a best time. Certainly looks like it.
Kieran Watson, here he comes, touching in 3:57.36. And then in second place, the man beside him in lane 5, Victor Dagenet, in 3:58.74. And then third goes to Guillaume in lane 6, just over 4:01, or just over 4 minutes, 4:01.68.
And one of the coaches came up to me and said, is the guy in lane 6 royalty? Because it's last name and then first name. So his last name is Lord, and it's Guillaume. So is he Lord Guillaume swimming in this meet? So he ended up in 3rd spot. Guillaume Lord did. Victor Dagenet, who finished in 2nd and really closed brilliantly towards the end of this race, swims out of Montreal. He was on the junior Pan Pac team. That's the 8 and under Pacific Rim countries got together for a competition, and he was able to make that team in 2022. Looks like he's back to that form this summer right now with this performance.
Please welcome your finals now to the junior final event, 400 freestyle.
The next event in the pool is the junior final. 10 athletes in the field. And we've got a really quick swimmer in the middle of the pool. Simon Fonseca will be in lane 4 when we get to meet him. He went 3:58.8 earlier today. In fact, we had 4 swimmers under 4 minutes in their heats earlier today. Canadian junior record in this event set by Lauren Wigington last year at 3:49.05. He is not in this race. We expect to see him challenging for a Paris spot later in the week. It is starting in lane 0, Russi, then Dyke, then Vorobiev, then Miao, then Fonseca's in 4, Kim is in 5, Smith is in 6, Kirk is in 7, Schapper in 8, and Payne is in 9. Remember, lane 9 is at the top of your screen, lane 0 at the bottom.
Well, Kim is he's going out real fast. He's attacking this race. He's in lane number 6, getting out after it. As we said, this is 18 years of age and under. He's a couple years younger than most of these gentlemen. And you mentioned the junior record is Lauren Wigington. Lauren Wigington actually had the fastest time in the men's 400-meter freestyle in the preliminaries, chose not to swim the finals this evening. Would have won it with that time from the preliminaries, but he said, this isn't my main event. My main event's a 400-meter individual medley, so Wigington decided to pass on the finals tonight, and we'll see him later.
Really good swim so far for Leon Kim. He went through 155.56. He's got the yellow cap in lane number 5. Right beside him on his right is Simon Fonseca with the fastest qualifying time. And at 150, it is Leon in 1:25.47. Did that last 50, Byron, in 29.9. By far the fastest in the field.
The key on this is only the halfway mark, but we were talking about the kick. See how easy it is for Leon Kim? I mean, he's just laying it out there. He almost looks like he's gliding out in front on that, but that's just setting up a very nice pull, and his kick is flowing very nicely behind him, but he's not over kicking. Very, very good situation. This young man has got a whale of a future in front of him, that's for sure.
Kim leads by a body length and a half. The chasers are in lanes 6 and in lane 4. And 4 is Fonseca, in 6 is Harrison Smith.
And even lane 3, El Neo is giving it a run here. So this is the 400 free. There's an 800 free now. The recent Olympic Games in Tokyo was the first time there was ever competed in 800-meter freestyle, and a 1500 has been in the Olympics forever. But there's also a 10-kilometer race at the Olympic Games. And some of these athletes here, including Max Vorbiev in lane number 2, down near the bottom, that's their specialties. They're really good in the open water, which is like a 2-hour race.
Kim really looking strong here. He's through in 2:55.44 for 300 meters. That time he was just over 30 seconds after several 29-second splits.
So this is interesting. Lane number 4, who was right in tied in the lead early in the race, has really, really fallen off. And you've got lane number 6, 7 up at the top, making a nice move there. Bardat, or adding Aiden Kirk.
At 350 meters, Leon Kim is in the lead, 3:26.15. He did that last 50 in 30.7. He looks strong here. Remember, his time earlier today was 3:59.02, and up there near the top of the pool in lane 7, Kirk is challenging, but it's going to be Leon Kim who's going to touch the wall in 3:56.37. Then lane 3, Mayall, who had a really strong finish, 3:57.86. And then in lane 7 was Aiden Kirk.
Well, Aiden Kirk writes that I'm a good cross-country runner. Well, he's got the endurance. He certainly came back very well in that race, get himself in 3rd spot. The interesting part there is Leon Kim, I'm sure it's a good news, bad news. Good news, great swim. Really good time. Best time, the whole 9 yards. But if he'd have done that in the preliminaries, he'd have been in the big final, right? So, you know, there's learning that's going on, but he's so young at this and getting better every day that it's something to look forward to for the future.
So 3:56.37, a solid time for Leon Kim. He is the Canadian junior champion in the 400-meter freestyle. Here we go with our next race in the pool, the women's 400-meter freestyle B final. And in the middle of the pool in lane 4, Brecken Gormley had a really quick swim. She was 5 seconds faster than anyone else in her heat at 4:18.7. So we'll be keeping an eye on her and seeing if anyone else was holding anything in reserve. Women's B final, 400-meter freestyle, 8 lengths in the pool. Top of the screen is lane 9, Elianu Phillips, then Megan Frost, then Ella Couture, then Anna Hine, then Dumont Bélanger, then Brecken Gormley, Helen Ann Savas in 3, Garzon Cabezes is in 2, Danielle Treasure in 1, and Molly Gowans is in lane 0, bottom of your screen. Eventually when we get that view.
Well, it's very interesting. The University Championships, youth sports as they call it, were held about a month ago. And 3 of these women were standouts in that. You've got lane number 5, Dumont Belanger from UBC. She's in about, 3rd spot maybe right now. She won the gold medal in the 200 and 800 free. Anna Hine in lane number 6 out of Boston, goes to the University of Toronto. She was a gold medalist in this race, the 400-meter freestyle. And then you've got a couple other women in here, like Cross, that was at McGill, and Danielle Treasure from Western Ontario, who's in lane number 1. So lots of university athletes in this B final here.
So in lane 4, the leadership, Brecken Gormley. We mentioned her really fast time earlier today. She is through 100 meters in 101.62. And in second place at that last touch was Ella Couture in lane 7.
So this is interesting simply because, as you said, her time is 5 seconds faster than everybody else. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you're feeling real good because you're way out in front, but at the same time, you're supposed to be. Your best time is way better than everybody here, so you should be out in front. You just can't back off and let people come back to you. You've got to keep the pressure on. I did mention during Summer McIntosh's race, there's actually a clock on the side of the pool, and she can take a look, and it looks like she's actually got a big breath, and she's looking up at the clock to see where she is.
She comes through 200 meters, so halfway through the race in 2:06.59, did that last 50 in 32.6, a lot faster than anyone else.
Well, she can be under her best time here if she keeps up that pace. Question is, who's going to sort of step it up at this point now? They've got halfway, they've got 4 lengths to go. Got to start making a move now if you're going to make a move to get up into second spot. Nobody's obviously catching Gormley.
This could be a real stepping stone for athletes, can it? Where they maybe win a B final or get on the on the podium, as it were, in the B final, and then get inspired for the next time. And I don't want to be in the B final. I don't want to win the B final. I want to be right in the thick of the battle in the A final.
Yeah, I've always said that the procedure is take a young athlete to a nationals, have them in the outside lanes in the B final. The next year, have them win the B final. The next year, the outside lanes in the A final. And then 4 years, you get them into the podium, all right?
There you go. So at 300 meters, Brecken Gormley at 3:11.74.
Still on pace to do her best time, for sure.
And she has got a huge lead, probably more than 5 seconds right now. 6 seconds almost.
Couture is still hanging on in lane number 7 in second spot. The other athletes are trying to make a bit of move, try to pick up their cadence. Looks like Danielle Treasure's doing a great job way down in lane number 1. As we watch Gormley, there we go. Now you can see as they're coming in, Couture's at the top, way down at the bottom here. That's lane number 1. That's Danielle Treasure from Western University, making a good move. She's moved up into third from back in about 6th spot earlier in the race.
Just about 30 meters to go now for Brecken Gormley, who touched 350 in 3:44.34. And she has got a 6 body length lead at least, as she is coming in strong, looking for the wall. In lane number 4, she had the fastest qualifying time, and she betters that by 2 seconds and change for Brecken Gormley. In second place, up in lane 7, was Ella Couture, and in third place in lane 2 was Gabezos Garzon.
Great last 50 for Garzon at the end there. She really wasn't in the picture and came smoking home. There she is right there. So Garzon is not a Canadian. She's allowed to be in these races. Anybody that wants to be here internationally, there are some athletes from other countries that will allow times to stand here. They just can't be in the A final where Canada picks its team. So Garzon right there. Cabeza Garzon swims at the Etobicoke. E-swim stands for the Etobicoke Club, which is in the west end of Toronto. And she moves up in the third spot.
Her birth year is 2009, by the way, Byron. So
15 years old this year.
Next event in the pool is the women's 400-meter junior freestyle final. Middle of the pool schedule for this race in lane 4 is Maya Bezonsun. She went the only swimmer to go under 4:20, 4:19.99 earlier today. In lane 5 beside her is Lydia Hart in lane 5. Other middle lanes in the pool, Ashley Coe is in 3. Sundermeyer is in lane number 6. In the women's junior 400-meter freestyle final. Lane 0 at the bottom, Saldana Riebeling. Then in lane 1 is Michelle Zeng. In lane 2, Peyton Lee. In lane 3, Ashley Coe. Maya Bezonsun is in 4. Lydia Hart is in 5. Sundermeyer is in 6. Vroom is in 7. Klein is in 8. And Kosick is in lane number 9.
Well, and in lane number 9 there up at the top, she's a twin. Her sister also swims at the University of Calgary Swim Club and is also a national swimmer and is at this competition as well. Don't have a lot of twins. We saw that earlier in the 400-meter freestyle in the A final with Mabel Zavros.
Well, it is pretty even right now. It looks like the swimmers in the middle lanes, are in the lead, but then coming on strong in lane number 6, Sundermeyer, and then in lane 7, Vroom, and it's all very, very tight. In fact, it is Bezonsun in lane 4 with the lead at 1:01.80, ahead of Lydia Hart at 1:02.09.
I think you'll watch Bezonsun make a nice move there. She was really on a long, easy stroke with very little kick in the first 100 meters, and her best time is a bit better than most of the athletes in this field. The interesting part about this is there's nobody that's really standing out in the sense that sometimes young swimmers, i.e. Summer McIntosh, can finish 4th in the world at age 14. You can have young swimmers, especially on the women's side, more so than the men's side, really, really excel when they're at a very young age. Part of that is training, part of that is ability, part of that is physique. But certainly you can get to the elite levels in women's swimming at a very young age compared to the men's that need to wait and go up against the guys once you've got a little bit more muscle and testosterone in your body.
Next touch will be at the halfway point. Bezonsun leading. She is going to touch at 200 meters in 2:07.25, just ahead of Lydia Hart in 2:08.04, so about 3/4 of a second faster.
So some of the swimmers like to breathe on only one side. Like they're just very, I really like the left side. I can't breathe on the right side. It screws up my stroke. I wiggle in the water or whatever. And then some of them, like Bezonsun, go half the length of breathing on one side and half the length sometimes breathing on the other side, which is a very interesting way to do it. Obviously keeps you fairly even. I know when youngsters are taught to swim, sometimes the young coaches will say, breathe on opposite sides. So in other words, you breathe one side and then poof, you turn over, you breathe on the other side, and then the next time you go back to your left side. Just so that, again, so they can try to straighten them out and make them swim nice and straight. Eventually, someone even like a Katie Ledecky, the best swimmer in the world, in the distance freestyle events, she only breathes on one side. And you've got to be able to then look on the turns or somehow figure out a way to look if you're going to race somebody head-to-head if you're only going to breathe on one side, because they could sneak up on the other side.
The next touch, there'll be 100 meters to go for our leader in lane 4, Maya Bezonsun. She touches in 3:13.11, did that last 50-meter split in 33.11, the fastest in the field.
Making a nice move. Down in lane number 2 is Peyton Lee. You can see her right there. She might have actually moved into second spot. Trains with Dave Ling, who was just hired recently as the head coach of Brock University and the swim club there in St. Catharines, Ontario. She's made some real big strides as a youngster, born in 2008. Putting herself in a nice spot here to try to pass a couple of these women and finish in second.
So Bezonsun touches at 3:50 and 3:45.84. Less than 50 meters to go. Less than 40, in fact, for our leader, Maya Bezonsun. Remember, her time earlier today was just under 4:20, 4:19.99. She is trying to better that. She is going to win this race, but by how much and who gets second? And it is Bezenson coming through, and she'll touch in 4:18.04, and behind her in lane 2 is Peyton Lee, who had a really quick finish. And then the athlete in lane 3, Ashley Coe, finishes at 4:20.97. So faster for all those swimmers than they were in the morning heats.
Well, Peyton Lee just did her best time by 5 seconds. I mean, that's pretty amazing. As I said, you can get those kind of drops when you're young. You can start moving up. I mean, that's a real breakthrough for the youngster from Brock University Swim Club. Ashley Coe, Langley Olympians, finishes in 3rd spot. 4:20, also an improved time. So these women really raised. Everybody went faster.
Into the B final now for the women's 100-meter butterfly. 10 athletes getting set to go.
I'll just mention here, you got in lane number 0 down in the bottom, Celia Wist. Her mom is Riley Mance, was an Olympic team member for Swim Canada.
So Wist is in 0, Witchalak is in 1, Rogers in 2, Weatherhead in 3, Mullen in 4, DeWitt in 5, Stewart in 6, Bees is in 7, Kehoe in 8, and Musgard is up in lane number 9, top of the pool, and it is a really even start, but in lane number 1, a really good swim so far for Blythe Witchalak, I guess.
And I mentioned Celia Wist in lane 1. Her mom, Andrea Nugent, was on the Olympic team, won an Olympic medal for Canada. Celia trying to get back into the race at this point, but you got in lane number 4, in the middle of the picture, you got in 2nd or 3rd spot, Nina Molden, actually originally out of Chicago. Now attends the University of Toronto, was your youth sport gold medalist in this race, trying to make up ground on your lane number 2.
Less than 15 meters to go in this women's B final in the 100-meter butterfly. This is almost too close to call. It's gonna be tight. And it goes to Rogers in lane 2 at 1:01.65. She came on like gangbusters.
Very well split, coming back the last 25 meters and passing about 3 of the women as she was able to get to the wall first.
And then in lane 3 was Weatherhead, and in lane 5 it was Mackenzie DeWitt, just ahead of Nina Mollen.
There you go. As we saw in the women's A final, timing is important. Maggie McNeil was able to get out a little bit quicker, had the great turn, but you still got to have a good back half, and that's exactly what we saw there, was a good back half of the race, and that got her to the first place here in this B final. Sienna Rogers from the University of Calgary. Now we've got the junior final coming up.
So again, 10 swimmers in the pool, middle lanes. Lanes 4, Maya West, and lane 5, Claire Watson. West was at 1:00.64, the only one under 1:01 in her heat earlier today.
Well, and this is about giving the moms a shout out. Maya West's mom was Riley Mance, was on the 96 Olympic team. Met her husband, who was a swimmer from Denmark, Bo West, down at school, and now they're in Winnipeg. Both of them have been coaches at one point in their life, and 2 sisters, Mia and her sister, are both national level athletes.
That was Claire Watson. She is in lane 5. Now this should be quick, and this should be close. Can anybody get close to that 1-minute barrier? Can anybody get under it? That'll be the challenge here. Standing up very long, then getting down finally was Maggie Hugh. Interesting the way she started. And in lane number 4, really good start for Maya West.
Maya Maya West has real good speed. She swam the 50 butterfly, if I remember correctly, at the World Juniors. So she's in lane number 4. She'll use that speed to get out. The question is, can anybody come back on her in the second lap of this 2-lap race?
West in 27.7 in the first 50 meters. Let's see how long she stays under. Now she comes up into the lead by about a half a body length. Can anybody challenge West? Beside her is Claire Watson trying to stage a challenge, and on the other side is Gigovic.
Right to the wall. Now the question is, can you keep the turnover going? Can Mia West keep it going? She's struggling a little bit. The pole's getting a little short.
Mia West is going to be the Canadian junior champion in 1:00:02. Oh, that hurts.
That hurt. 3 100s from getting under that 1 minute barrier. And trust me, it is a barrier. The athletes really strive to get under that 1 minute barrier.
So then it was West, Watson, and Gigovic. 1, 2, and 3, all at 1:00, and then West was at 1:00:02. So just 300ths from getting under it, I guess.
These athletes are so fit, it doesn't even look like she's tired. This is very interesting the way this is running. Usually you have a B final followed by the A final. But for this meet, we did all the A finals, and now we're doing all the B and the C finals.
All right, next event in the pool, the men's 100-meter breaststroke B final. And I don't think anyone's going to be challenging the 1 minute barrier here. 1:03 would be the target, maybe 1:02. Nathan Thomas, lane 4, Ian Cameron, lane 5, Alex Landry, lane 6, Ethan Hemian, right beside Braden Hemian.
Brothers from Saskatoon who attend the University of British Columbia.
Right now, it looks like the leader is Nicholas, or at least is Ian Cameron in lane 4. But it is hard to tell who's going to touch first at 50 meters in this 100-meter breaststroke. And it is Marcus Mack in lane number 9.
Way up at the top.
Outside smoke, way up at the top. Can he hold on?
He might be able to. He looks good at this particular, and nobody sees him. That's the other advantage. Nobody knows he's up there. So you got Cameron in the middle in lane number 4 trying to make a move. He said, I started swimming because my mom was a lifeguard and she wanted to make sure I could swim.
Marcus Mack is blazing up at the top in lane number 9, and I don't think anybody's going to catch him. Here they come to the wall. Maybe they did catch him. Yes, they did at the very end. It was Nathan Thomas who sneaks past Marcus Mack. 1:02.64 for Thomas.
He's trying to see down to the other end of the pool to see if he can see the scoreboard.
He had a final 50 of 33.17, which was faster than anyone else in the field, and Nathan Thomas came out of nowhere to grab that win. But how about Marcus Mack?
Taking it out.
Ay.
Nathan Thomas swims at the Etobicoke Swim Club, but his family just moved to the Toronto area. He did swim in Point Claire Swim Club in Montreal for many years before the move to Toronto. And he broke his arm earlier this winter, so he's coming back pretty well.
500ths ahead for Thomas over Mack.
Cameron ends up in 3rd.
Next event in the pool, the 100-meter breaststroke Canadian Junior Final. This includes athletes born as late as 2008 and as old as, I guess, 2006 birth year. So,
yep. The 8 athletes. Interestingly, the athlete in lane number 2, Kushera Carter, represented Ontario at the North American Indigenous Games.
the fastest in the middle of the pool. Nicholas Duncan is in 4, and Keat Kong is in lane number 5. Those two were just 600 separated in the heats. They went 103.5 and 103.6 and change.
There are your swimmers. Lane number 4, Nick Duncan from the University of Calgary, from the city of Calgary, the University of Calgary swim team. They actually have a University of Calgary swim team which comprises of both the university athletes and the high school athletes. The high school athletes obviously don't swim at the university championships, but they do swim as part of the big powerful team that they run there under head coach Mike Blondell.
Nicholas Duncan and Keat Kong beside each other in lanes 4 and 5 will set the field. In 0 is Sun, Corshane Carter in 1, Young in 2, Cole in 3, Duncan in 4, Kong in 5, Tareko in 6, Sescon in 7, Morin in 8, and Holden Lees is in lane 9, top of the pool.
Look at lane number 6. You can see that Jaco from the Brantford area. I believe he is the 6th, and they tell me the final. Possibly not the final. There might be one more child in the family that swims, and they all have swum at the national level. Could be their own swim team.
We're underway, our final race of the night, the men's 100-meter breaststroke junior final to decide the Canadian junior champion. And out quickly in lane number 4, Nicholas Duncan. And in lane 2, we've got a quick one as well in Justin Jung.
You've got to get into the wall and out quickly. You've got to try to time it. In breaststroke, it's a little bit easier. You can take a short pull if you need to. Get around, and you'll have one big pull underwater, one dolphin kick, which is actually new in the last decade. You allowed that dolphin kick. You didn't used to be able to do that.
Cameron Corshane Carter touched first at 50 and 29.6. He is in lane 1, so just one up from the bottom of your screen. And he is trying to hold off the challengers, and here come the challengers in the middle of the pool. Nicholas Duncan in 4, Keat Kong in 5. It's going to be tight. Kong might have the edge. Here they come. And it is Keat Kong just ahead of Nicholas Duncan, just ahead of Tanner Cole. The winning time, 1:03.53.
Nick Duncan's sister is also a swimmer on the University of Calgary swim team. Keat Kong had a nice swim there. He just took just a bit of a big breath at the end. Came up pretty high in the water, and I just don't know if he needed to do. He'd need to take a breath. It's part of the rhythm, but he might have come up a little bit too high looking for the wall there. It might have just cost him those hundredths of a second. That is the difference between not touching the other athletes.
And there are your officials for the final race of the night. Kong in 1:03.53, then Duncan, then Cole, and then Tareko, and then Moran, Marchane, Jung, Sescon, Sun, and Lees.
So Duncan just was a little bit high on his last breath, is what I was mentioning, and that probably cost him getting out-touched at the very end. But a good race. Cole Tanner from Edmonton comes in 3rd. Bruce Carter, the guy that swam in the North American Indigenous Games, was out like a rocket, but didn't quite have the finishing, did he? Faded down a little bit. Lots of excitement. Opening night.
Betcha. Well, we're going to do it again tomorrow, folks. Hope to have you along for the ride as well. We'll get started, in fact, tomorrow morning at 9:30 with our medleys as they get started.
Well, and you never know, things can change, but at this point, we might see Penny Alexiak in the 200-meter freestyle tomorrow.
And we might see a showdown between Penny Alexiak and Summer McIntosh in that 200-meter. A great day of swimming in Toronto, the facility that was rushed into action, and so far so good. Brilliant job for the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre. We saw these brilliant swims tonight.
There's Summer McIntosh. No surprise, she signs the board because that's what the people that have been named to the Olympic team are doing. Danielle Dorris tying her world record in the para butterfly events. Lots of great swimming. 8 events. Several athletes making the time standards to qualify to advance into Paris.
Well, it was about the McIntoshes, it was about the McNeils, and it was about the up-and-comers and the Paralympic athletes like Danielle Dorris showing and leading the way for Canadians trying to punch their ticket to Paris 2024. On behalf of Byron McDonald and our entire team, my name is Rob Snook. We had fun, hope you did as well, and we'll see you again tomorrow, right back at the pool here in Toronto. So long for now.
Natation Canada tient à remercier ses partenaires. Swimming Canada would like to thank our partners. Le gouvernement du Canada. The Government of Canada. Speedo, votre partenaire de natation de confiance de votre premier saut à chaque traction. Speedo, your trusted swim partner from your first splash through every stroke. Les producteurs de poulets du Canada, fiers partisans et protéines officielles de Natation Canada. Chicken Farmers of Canada, proud supporter and official protein of Swimming Canada. All Tides, fiers de soutenir la natation canadienne. All Tides, proud to support Canadian swimming. Air Canada, transporteur aérien officiel des essais olympiques et paralympiques. Air Canada, official airline of the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic swimming trials.
I have a disability, but I'm not fragile. My first big hit was a rush. It made me feel alive in a way only sports can. Because of partners like Vel, I get to feel it on the world stage. And now I get to share that feeling with the next generation.